Alright, so here I'm going to change the blade on my jet horizontal bandsaw. It's a model 8VBS7MW. Okay, it's a 93-inch by 3/4 blade. As you can see right here, a lot of the teeth are just gone. They're not even sharp anymore. This is an old blade, the same blade that I got when I got the bandsaw. So I've had this bandsaw a few years, for I don't know, 10 years now at least. Longer than that actually. Came up on it on a job. Guy owed me some money, so this is what he gave me. Not a bad deal. Needed some adjustments. I'll have to go through and make sure the blade's square. I've done that before, but it's been a while. Verify this blade is straight side. Yes. Okay, so let's hang this right here. We're going to pull the old blade. The way this works is you just loosen up the tension here. The counterclockwise should turn it. Make this go down, which it is. Be very careful. This blade still has sharp teeth. Hence, you know, I guess I should have gloves on, but I prefer bare hands on everything. And this goes, let's take this off. That'll be kind of difficult to get off once we get it in place. So this thing's going to cut in this direction so that blade's on the right, or the teeth are in the right direction. Sometimes you have to flip these things over. In this case, it's going to drive this way, pulling the material this way. Or, you know, material's going to be in here, it's going to cut, it's going to pull the. So just make sure that the bottom stays in. So we're going to loosen this up a bunch. Going. See, that old blade was stretched. Alright, here you can buy this stuff in bulk and then just cut and weld it. I've never done that before. I guess if I use this a lot, then I would buy something like that, but I don't use this thing too often. I at least didn't for years, so. Once you get it all seemed to be in place, there's a notch on the back here, so you just butt the blade up against that. Make sure it's not overlapping that at all. And there's a way to check the tension on this thing. You just gotta get a feel for it. So I think that's pretty good. We'll try that. Let me get an extension cord. Alright, so we're plugged in now. And you want to make sure you stay away from the blade because you don't want that to be an issue. Here's the switch, power switch. So if you notice, my pulley has some side-to-side play. It's got some bend to it, but it still works good as long as the blade runs smooth. So it looks like that'll work. Right, now it loosened up, so let's tighten her up some. And you don't want the blade too tight because it could break, but you do want it taut. Yeah, taut. Alright, and then all you do is once that's lined up, close these clamps here on the guard. Now I'll show you how to make some more adjustments. As you can see, the pulleys here kind of chewed up. The shaft here on the motor, on that gear. So I guess I can always replace that shaft. I'm gonna look up and see what the cost of that is. I might change that out. So this thing has a 7-inch by 12-inch rope, which is pretty solid. So you can drop this thing down. You can adjust how fast it falls by turning turn this here, and then when this drops, it'll run, and then when that hits, it'll shut it off. See, it shuts the blade off. Here's your boom stop. I think it's called a boom stop, because you don't want it sitting. There we go. Probably be a good idea to have a piece of material in there. I'll readjust that once I go to cut. But what you want to do is you want to make sure this thing is square. So what we'll do to check that out, you can hit this valve which shuts the auto release off. We'll open this up, and then let's get ourselves a square. So take this, and we'll just make sure it's flat in the vise, and we're going to leave it off a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch, and we'll eyeball it, and then just to verify that this thing is dropping square. Okay, so it seems like it's dropping pretty square. Now let's take this, and we'll sit it right about 1/8 of an inch off. Probably use a card or something. Let's pick this up, and it does have an effect when it gets up this high. See, it's touching it. It's touching the... So this has a little bit of movement, but down at... When it comes down, I'm only cutting material that's 2-3 inches high anyways. There's only, you know, a 16th of an inch. So, I mean, I guess it's not going to get much better than that. I don't think I can adjust this. I don't think there's a cam. Nope, there's no cam here to make any adjustment. So that's just is what it is. This is old, wallowed out. But, I mean, it's damn near. We'll just, you know, be okay with that. I have adjusted this thing before where I had some play like this, like depending on what the material is, like inside the saw. But verify that this is clean. See, when you get up to this, you know, so after 4, you know, what is this? What does that say? 12. So 5 inch, so 5 inches, and 5 inches has got about a 1/16 of movement this way. I don't think there's anything I can really do about that. I'll make sure your blade is also square. So it looks like this needs to be turned just a hair. So let's make that adjustment right now. This will work. Okay, let's hit the... turn it on. Yeah, see it's straight up and down now. And verify that your bearings are rolling. So in this case the bearings are rolling, that's what the back of the blade rides on. And then there's bearings down here, so make sure those are turning. And you can see there's some play here, this isn't even contacted. But it seems like all those are in good working order. And then this is your water, your coolant, which right now my coolant is off. Now let's verify. I would say that was on. So, yep. So let's get some water inside there. So we will You're supposed to use coolant so it doesn't rust. You know, it keeps your material cleaner without rusting. But I don't buy that stuff. Hence why my material or my tray is rusted. There's probably an activator or something I can put in there. Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe an additive. So the top of the tray spits water into the down here. So let's just get this full. So you can see there's a drain here, so the material stops at this screen, so it doesn't get past the screen, and then drops down into the tub. Let's just get some water in here. Okay, looks like the tank's about half full right now. You know, I'm an optimist, so I see it as half full, not half empty. You can look that up, what that means. You know, I like to look forward to what I have, not what I'm missing. Okay, so turn this on, and then this valve, shut that valve off. This valve wide open. Is the pump running? The pump is running. Looks like it might be a clog, so we're gonna have to open that up and check that out. Okay, that's off. And this coolant pump only runs when the motor's running. If the switch is on, it shuts off when the motor shuts off. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull all this stuff apart so we can see what's going on with my water pump. So let's pull that hose off. See, still a basic connection underneath there. Luckily there's still enough material so I don't have to disconnect it. I should be able to slide it out enough to see what's going on. Might just be clogged. This ain't gold, so it's possible that it's worn out. We also have to verify that the hose isn't clogged. So this slides out. I think I got a bolt missing here, so that would be useful in this case. Let's get this off. Looks like this is a little saw that I got off, I think I got it on Amazon. It's like 12 bucks. I needed to cut some aluminum heat sink material, so this thing worked perfect for that. Let's go right through here. Yeah, like butter. This thing, it's a very useful little saw. I use it for all sorts of projects, or all sorts of things. Things you wouldn't really think about it being useful for, you know. So I'll get a bolt for that. Pull this out. Ah, yeah, nice and rusted. What do they call that? Rusty. Alright, so that's rusted to the point where it's not going to come off, because the screws are completely rusted. So that's, yeah, you can see the screws. That's completely rusted through. Yeah, I think this pump is toast. I'm going to order a new pump for this thing. Okay, so on my jet bandsaw, on my coolant pump, these screw holes were all rusted. So I drilled out the screws. This screw was still good, so I have to find a replacement screw. I think I'm just going to drill all the way through. Matter of fact, I am just going to drill all the way through and then just nut and bolt all the way through. But it looks like there is a crack in the housing here. Goes all the way through. But this thing pumps quite an amount of fluid. So I think if I just RTV all this, it should work. And then I'll put a RCV or RTV down in the hole there and then bolt the screw all the way on. And then this was capped. This had like a film, so there was no way it was going to pump anyways because it was clogged. So I think this will still work. I'm going to throw some RTV on it and stick it back down in the water and see if it works. And if it does, that'd be great. It's a $150 pump. So the motor still runs good. Everything's good. It just sat in water for 10 years, so it wasn't a good idea. It's probably been a good few years since I used it, and then it was a few years before that and a few years before that. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. So I silicone the base together, put some stainless steel screws on so this issue doesn't happen again, and just wired it up temporarily just to look at it, just to see it work. And what do we have here? Bam! It works again. Cool. So I saved over $100 fixing this pump. You know, you never know what you're gonna find. You can just take it apart, and you know, a lot of times you can fix these things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's broke. It's just that pump was clogged, and the only way to unclog it was to pull the pump out. So now I'm going to cut this hose right here and reattach the hose, put the base plate back on, put the cover back on, put the wire back in the way it goes, and hook her back up. She'll be good to go. And throw a bolt in here. And then I found that there's an adjustment here, so that might fix my issue where the boom is coming up a 1/16 inch off. I think that will, by moving that, that'll fix that issue. I'm going to try that once I get all this back together. Alright, so I got the pump back in, reconnected, tank's full. Now we're going to test the pump. The fluid's going to come out right here. So for right now, we'll stop it, turn the pump on, or turn the motor on, then turn the pump on, and we can adjust this. And there's the water. You can adjust how fast it goes. I usually have it running pretty slow, just enough to get water on the blade. I don't see the point on soaking the material. You just want to pull the blade. So let's shut this off. You can see that the blade's wet. See how much water is flowing in there? Usually when I'm actually cutting, I'll have it going about that much, so it leaves a nice little water. So yeah, that looks like this thing's dialed in. We want to check that our blade is square to the table. So we're going to check that, and all that takes is bringing this out, putting a square in there, and checking the blade. So let's take our square. Stick this in here. Now, unfortunately, okay, let's stick that like that. I'll put the phone down for a second. So with the square in there, you just look straight down. You can see the blade's nice and straight. Okay, so that's good. And then what we still need though is the fact that this thing is actually lifting like this. So I think that adjustment is right there. So that's what we'll play with again. Okay, so this adjustment here did seem to affect the blade going straight up and down, as opposed to it was actually coming in like this. So I have the blade butted up, damn near butted up. I go up and down. It's nice. And then it looks like the blade is square. Actually, it needs to be adjusted now. So we'll adjust that, and I think we'll have a successful refurbish job. Be ready to use this thing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you.